I get falling to no trap. Please don't ask me for no hangout on the text, won't answer back. I work hard to be on top, dodging the fall like my ex. I wake up in different places, different cars, get different sex. Really don't play about this shit no more. Fuck what they doing, we ain't losing. I just changed the closet up the trip, that's super stupid. Been this woman, I just laugh when they think I make this on music. Hated on me the whole time, congratulate me like they knew it. Boys around me had the way out, had to get it on my own. Niggas ain't give me shit, no food up in my plate, not even a bone. Black get caught up just like ops if he switching and moving wrong. My brody got shot by his blood, that's why I always move along. Those enemies ain't fought, them boys is close. If I see that you jealous, I don't want you close. If you telling a bitch, we know you a hoe. They say that they die for you, promise they won't. Them niggas ain't down, them niggas ain't low. Soon as you fall, them boys gon' go. Respect for your bitch, they gon' take where you go. I only stay down for me and I go for me, cause it's only one name on the song. Come out when they be mad, I know they be hating. Only worry about the business they pay me. Money for when I'm sleeping. I gotta get to the check, secure the bag. Fuck it, they hate, fuck it, they mad. Love ain't real, it come with a tag. I get falling to no trap. Bitch don't ask me for no hangout on the text, won't answer back. I work hard to be on top, dodging the fall like my ex. I wake up in different places, different cars, get different sex. Now they give me my respect. They sit all alone, they try to help and I neglect. We broke ties, parted ways, but my foot stood up on their neck. I was blinded by the blood, I never do that shit again. It's hard for me to trust, I don't love bitches, don't do friends. Hidden agenda, you ain't my homie, you a pretender. They tell it to the ground, nothing to me, I don't respect it. They know I don't get no fucks, but yeah, they know they don't get it. 3.5 in the
No, they did not.
you don't even sweat it. All against no blessing, now when you do it,
We're hoping that they did.
all black religion, that we chasing the money, they chasing the clout. Different cars, switch them daily, off for risk, they take. They gonna play when I was bumming, now they try to fuck. I get falling to no trap. Bitch don't ask me for no hangout on the text, won't answer back. I work hard to be on top, dodging the fall like my ex. I wake up in different places, different cars, get different sex. Now they
Oh shit. Oh shit, I let the whole song play on you niggas. What's going on, yo? This is Marcus Rosa, aka MarkMazuma, aka Mazuma TV, aka your grandma favorite, aka all that good shit, man. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Miles Patterson, what's going on? Notes, you know what I mean? For God for T, talking about you late, fam. Fuck, nigga, you sound like my manager, nigga. Fuck up out of here. I'm on my time, nigga. I'm on real nigga time. What are you talking about? OG Rugrat, what's going on? Notes. Notes talking crazy. All right, this is how we gonna start this shit. All right, Rogers 2, Rogers the second. I don't know what you want me to call you, but shout out to Rogers. You know what I mean? So we definitely gonna get into this, man. This is gonna be a fun live, I could tell, because we've got some good boxing news, some unfortunate boxing news, but exciting at the same time, man. But before I get into that, man, I hope everybody had a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to the nation, shout out to the mob, all that good shit, man. Hit the like button as soon as you come in. We got 10 people in the building. You see what I'm saying, man? I appreciate everybody that's tuned in so far, man. I hope y'all had a great day. You know what I mean? My boy Anonymous in the building. You know what I mean? And yeah, OG. It's definitely going to be some interesting talk. And this is the type of topics that have come up where I might have to bring my boy Claymore Rain on here. Let me see if Claymore is available. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mazuma TV Clips in the building, man. If y'all on TikTok, man, follow Mazuma TV Clips, man. He's been putting in a lot of work for the channel, and I'm very thankful and appreciative of that. You know what I'm saying? But let me see if Claymore is available to talk right now. You know what I mean? I wish I had Ray Davis' number, but I don't think I think his name is Ray Davis. My apologies if that's not his name, but Ray. You know what I mean? Let me see if Clay's available. We got some things to talk about, man. First of all, obviously, we're going to be speaking on the whole Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin situation, along with David Benavidez deciding to move up to light heavyweight, man. We're going to talk about whether that's a good thing or that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? And these are the type of topics where I'm not going to engage too much in the chat until I'm finished saying my piece, you know what I mean? Because these are very important topics at this moment, you know what I mean? So the biggest news today, undoubtedly, is the whole situation between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. Now, regarding this fight right here, man, we're going to get straight into the shit, man. We got 10 people in the building. You know what I mean? I usually wait a little bit for more people to come in, but we see the boy Notes is excited, man. He's definitely excited, and I see why he's excited. You know what I mean? But I might have to kill the buzz in a little bit. You know what I mean? I might have to kill the buzz in a little bit. But Shout out to PBC for coming up with a good fight, though, man. From what I believe, I don't remember exactly what the date was. CJ Barker, what's going on? What's going on? But let me read this post again. Okay, okay. It's like the first thing that popped up on my explore page actually. So according to Mike Coppinger, Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin agree on a WBA lightweight title fight. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest news that has came out today so far. You know what I mean? And I doubt anything else is gonna come before the night, before midnight comes. So, uh, so be it, man. Fuck it. So let me read exactly what the details are. And it says Gervonta Davis, this is according to ESPN Ringside. Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin have agreed to a deal for a PBC pay-per-view fight in late spring, early summer for Davis's WBA lightweight title. Sources tell Mike Coppinger. So that's great news. You know what I mean? This is definitely Gervonta's best opponent in a very long time, in all honesty. You know what I mean? And Frank Martin is a serious threat, man. I was really impressed with his performance against Michelle Rivera. He really made his name known after he had made that statement. And it seemed like a lot of guys pretty much had their eyes on Frank Martin ever since then. You know what I mean? He got the Earl Spence co-sign. He trains with Derek James and a very skilled dude. And Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin have a history. They've actually sparred each other in the past. You see what I mean? Um, but as of right now, it doesn't seem like they really have a date. You know what I mean? They said late spring, early summer, so I'm assuming that that's May or June. You know what I mean? So I guess we could put those rumors of him fighting in the UK. We could silence that for now. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like that's going to be really a thing. I doubt that Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin will be fighting in the UK. I'm sure it'll be going on in the States because that's what makes sense at the end of the day. You feel what I mean? These guys, yeah. So according to Mazuma TV clips, he said, yeah, they sparred when Tank was getting ready for Leo Santa Cruz. So that wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean? This wasn't that long ago. The OG Rugrats says this is a step up for Gervonta for sure. I agree, it's a step up for both of them. In all honesty, I think it's a bigger step up for Frank Martin, because the lights that are about to be on him have never been as bright in his entire career thus far. You know what I'm saying? So I hope Frank Martin locked in. You know what I mean? Taking this fight 100% serious. Really locked in with Derek James, trying to develop a game plan. And Derek James has been really been put to the test as a coach as of lately, man. Like, this man endured, like, within 2023 alone, I believe this man faced and Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez back to back, man. In 1 year, it came up short in both of those. I thought Anthony Joshua was going to stay with him, and it looked like they was about to line him with Deontay Wilder, but fortunately for Derek James, well, it could be unfortunate as well because he's missing out on a payday. But um, he was about to be lined up with the possible. If AJ would have stood, he would have been lined up with Deontay Wilder as well. If Deontay Wilder would have came out successful against Joseph Parker, but he's getting tough battle after tough battle after tough battle, man. I know that's a lot of pressure for a trainer to endure. You know what I mean? Each fight that you take, whether your fighter wins or comes up short, man, it affects your reputation. The more you win, the more you being praised, the more recognition you get, the more awards you get. You know what I mean? The more respect they put on your name. But you get a couple losses, or some of your fighters don't look so good, man. They start to tarnish your name, and you know what I mean? Talk about you overhyped or you overrated, and you got exposed as a trainer, and oh, this fighter needs a different trainer. You know what I mean? But Derrick James, at the end of the day, man, he still got my cosign, man. He definitely got the Mazuma TV stamp. He's one of the best coaches in the world, man. Not the country, in the world. And a lot of trainers, you know what I mean, aren't going to be able to accomplish the feats that he has accomplished, man. It's hard to get one world champion in itself, but to have an undisputed world champion on your resume with Jermell Charlo and a unified world champion simultaneously and Earl Spence at the same time, and worked with the guys that he has worked with, man. Like, he's got a hell of a stable, man. Whether we talking about Frank Martin, Earl Spence, Jermell Charlo. I mean, Ryan Garcia's still over there from what I understand. And Anthony Joshua was there at one point in time. You know what I mean? He had a solid fighter named Burley Brooks as well. I'm sure he got some other fighters I don't know of just yet. But he had a hell of a stable at one time. You know what I mean? It still does. You feel what I mean? But Derrick James is a phenomenal trainer, man. One of the best trainers in the world. You got to put some respect on that man's name because another thing that Derrick James did that a lot of people weren't able to do is build a champion from scratch. You feel what I mean? A lot of these coaches that we hype nowadays, yeah, Mazuma TV clips. He was with Earl Spence as the amateurs. They had a story where the dad had Earl training with like some Mexican with some Mexican boxing gym or whatever, and he was looking to get some sort of change. And Derrick James was a professional fighter at the time, and he really like it was something about Derrick James that really resonated with Earl Spence's father. So he had asked Derrick James to work with him. Derrick James agreed with it, from what I understand. And the only one that didn't seem to be uh, complying with the whole situation was Earl Spence, to the point where his father had to pay him, like give him some money to really be on board with Derrick James being his trainer. But eventually it worked out, man, and they did some phenomenal things together. You feel what I mean? So that's what they were able to accomplish together, man. And a lot of trainers could talk whatever they want to talk about Derrick James, but a lot of them won't be accomplishing as much as Derrick James. You feel what I'm saying? So you know what I mean. He just having some tough luck lately in terms of like being on the B side or having a disadvantage, having his fighter having a disadvantage against um their opponent, their opponents and shit like that. But they better be locked in, man. Frank Martin better be training real well. He better be very well prepped. He better keep that defense real tight. You know what I mean? And really study Gervonta Davis, try to exploit as many holes in his game as possible, and try to come up with the best way to win. You know what I mean? This is when these boxers, bro, when they're like at the top of the game, man, you realize that it's really like playing chess out here, man. Like when you facing these low level guys, you facing these tomato cans and stuff like that, it don't really take much thought to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? But once you get up to the higher level where guys not going away with one shot, or they not folding off of a body shot, or they not really intimidated of you, you know what I mean? They got a winning mentality just like you. Then it's really like moving chess pieces across the board, man, because one bad move and you get X from the equation, man. But if you make the right moves, if you're real calculated with what you do in the ring, you could come out on top. You know what I mean? So hopefully they really in there strategizing, coming up with a perfect game plan for Gervonta Davis, because they're gonna need every ounce of focus in order to defeat this man. Man, Gervonta Davis is a special talent. You know what I mean? And I've been saying that, regardless of what the fuck people talking about on this internet, man. Talking about that I'm a Gervonta Davis hate channel and shit of that nature, bro. I done heard that plenty of times because I don't agree with certain people with what their agenda is or the type of propaganda they putting out here. But regardless, man, I respect Gervonta Davis, man. I love his skill set. And for those who really sitting there critiquing my channel because I have an opinion about how the way somebody's moving, me not agreeing with how somebody's moving, at the end of the day, I'm actually in these boxing gyms. I'm actually here creating fighters. I'm in the boxing game. I've helped manage fighters. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I know exactly what this is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And for those of y'all who just be sitting on the couch just wanting to talk about boxing, I'm actually on this shit. So, you know what I mean? Before y'all go critiquing, why don't y'all go do something in the sport and see what the fuck y'all capable of doing? You know what I mean? It's like losers be sitting here talking shit about winners. Like, bro, I don't be understanding that shit. You feel me? But it is what it is, man. But back to the topic, you know what I mean? Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin agree to fight for the WBA lightweight title. You know what I mean? When Devin Haney vacated his WBA title, they elevated Gervonta Davis to the full-fledged champion, the full status champion. So this is going to be for a legitimate title, man. And this is Frank Martin's first shot, first crack at a world title. So you know he's definitely excited. He about to get the biggest payday of his career. And I knew that Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis was already being spoken about behind the scenes when he had pulled out of that Shakur Stevenson negotiation. I knew that. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, bro, how did he agree to this fight? How did he agree to this fight with Shakur Stevenson within 24 hours? He walked away from the fight. Obviously, this is very apparent on what happened. You know what I'm saying? At the time, he didn't have anything in mind. He didn't have anything set in play or anything of that nature. You know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson, they come together to try to to get a fight going. You know what I mean? At that point in time, yeah, I'm with it, man. Yeah, about to fight for the WBC world title or whatever it is, about to get a big fight against Shakur. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm sure after he accepted that, the word spread throughout, you know what I mean, his people and things of that nature. And, Gervonta Davis and his team reached out instead. Al probably picked up the phone and was like, yo, how about just getting a shot at Gervonta Davis? You know what I'm saying? And we could offer you this much money and Frank Martin probably looked at that as a bigger opportunity. So he was like, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, I'm going to take the Gervonta Davis fight over the Shakur Stevenson fight any day. For one, because Gervonta Davis is more popular. It's going to be it makes more sense because they both on the same side business-wise. You know what I mean? And it's going to be for a bigger bag. So why not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? The Shakur Stevenson fight will continue to be there as long as I continue winning. You know what I mean? That's what Ryan Garcia was attempting to do when he was negotiating with Devin and walked away to pursue the Rolly fight. He like, oh, after I beat Rolly, I could come back to Devin Haney. Maybe Frank Martin has the same stance on it. Like, okay, if I come out successful against Gervonta Davis, which I'm confident, I'm confident that he's confident in his own abilities to defeat Gervonta. You know what I mean? Because if he's not, then he might as well kiss this fight goodbye because he just as good as dead. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm really trying to say is, man, I knew that this fight was gonna happen right when he walked away from Shakur Stevenson. I'm like, yo, the only way he's gonna walk away from the biggest payday of his career and a shot at a world title is if he was presented something much bigger, and it happened to be a Gervonta Davis fight. Now, mind you, Gervonta Davis got into some legal issues, so that postponed things, obviously. But we knew that this fight was in play off of the rip. You see what I mean? Meanwhile, Gervonta Davis was just staying calm, composed while he was going through his whole legal troubles. And once he got off of house arrest, man, he was able to get things in motion. You know what I mean? In terms of making fights happen, you know what I mean? And really getting a fight date set. It's a good fight, man. Now, Notes, a big Gervonta Davis fan, he like, yeah, man, y'all talk that shit now, nigga. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, what y'all gonna say now, man? Y'all talk about Tank ain't fighting nobody, but guess what? He fighting Frank Martin, nigga. What you guys say now, nigga? Yeah. I know. I already know how that go, man. I'm gonna let you do your little celebration dance or whatever, and talk your talk or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a great fight. It's a great fight. You know what I mean? I like Frank Martin versus Gervonta Davis, but is it the fight to be made? Is it the best fight to make in the division? Not really. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to dwell too much on that. You feel what I mean? I ain't going to talk too much about that, but it's a great fight, man. It's better than a Rayo Venezuela. You know what I mean? It's better than a Isaac Cruz rematch. You feel what I mean? And I'm sure Isaac Cruz and them got the word that Gervonta Davis was fighting Frank Martin next because they went along with they took that Rolly fight and acted like the Gervonta Davis opportunity didn't exist anymore because Isaac Cruz was sitting around just waiting for the opportunity. You see what I mean? But all of a sudden, he just moved on from the situation. So him and his team probably got word that Gervonta was going to fight somebody else. So they was like, all right, fuck it, we ain't going to sit around too long, nigga. Let's get this money. You feel what I mean? So it is what it is, man. I like the fight. You know what I mean? Hopefully, an agreement doesn't necessarily mean that a contract is signed. You know what I mean? But if they both agree, then I don't see why the fight doesn't happen. You feel me? I'm sure they both like the money that was presented. Hopefully they come up with a location soon. And from what I've heard, it might be in Baltimore. You know what I mean? It might be in Baltimore. I'm not too sure about that. That's just something that I've heard from somebody that I spoke to. But if they're able to make that in Baltimore, that's litty. That's litty, man. That's a great job. And Gervonta Davis, we speaking about Frank Martin being focused. Gervonta got to be focused too, man. He's got a hell of a. That's a hell of a. He hasn't had the longest layoff. Let's not get it wrong, but he's had some months off. You know what I mean? He hasn't been fully in the gym, obviously, because he had to spend some time behind bars, unfortunately. But he has to take this turnaround very serious because Frank Martin is a threat. You sleep on Frank Martin, you might have a long night, and that's not something that Gervonta Davis could afford to do at this present moment because there's some big opportunity. There's even bigger fights that could be in front of Gervonta Davis if he gets rid of Frank Martin. Man, that Devin Haney fight is still there. That Shakur Stevenson fight is still there if he wins. You know what I'm saying? And those could be big money fights, just like the Ryan Garcia one. And Gervonta, he said he don't really care about belts, but it seems like he's defending it. He seems like he's cool with defending the WBA title. You know what I mean? But um, he care about them bags. So if he want to keep getting them bags, you feel me? You gotta keep winning. So it is what it is. Mazuma TV clip says, Mark, did you see Eddie Hearn text Gervonta again for potential $25 million payday? So you think Tank gonna get more against Frank? I mean, I don't know how much they gonna make, bro. I really can't tell you. Only Gervonta, his team, PBC know how much he's getting paid. But I mean, realistically speaking, uh he might get something along those lines, man. Um this fight is a very intriguing fight. This is definitely gonna have the hardcore boxing fans' attention and stuff like that. But is it gonna generate the best pay-per-view numbers? I'm not sure, bro. It might do around the same numbers that him and I don't even know, bro. It's not gonna do Ryan Garcia numbers. I know that. So he can't expect the biggest bag. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm sure it's gonna be a healthy little payday, man. I don't know how much he's getting though, bro. I have no idea how to gauge how much he's getting paid. And for real, bro, speaking from a boxing fan's perspective, I really don't care what he's getting paid as long as he's fighting quality opponents. And this is his first. This fight right here, I like it more than the Hector Luis Garcia one. I like it more than the Mario Barrios John. I like it more than the Isaac Cruz one. I think that this guy possesses more skill than a lot of people that was presented in front of Gervonta before. So it's gonna make Gervonta Davis really lock in and really show us what his skill set is because Frank Warren he definitely got my respect in the skills department. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to that. Hit the like button as soon as you come in, man. We got 24 people in the building, man. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in so far. 24 people in the first 22 minutes. I'm very thankful. You know what I mean? Let's see. Let's see. Uh, wasn't Tank paying sanctioning fees for an interim title once, or that's capped? I think every belt has sanctioning fees. You know what I'm saying? I think that you got to pay each time that you uh have one of those belts or defending one of those belts. You know what I mean? The price may vary between the interim and the official world title, but regardless, um, you gotta. From what I heard Floyd Mayweather say that you gotta pay for. You gotta. There's sanctioning fees on all them belts. So yeah, man. You know what I mean? They might be taking a little bit out of Gervonta Davis's check. You feel me? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think that he would be paying it. I don't know. Texas says 3%. Well, I heard Andre Ward said that. I heard Andre Ward say that the sanction, like the fee that they charge you, can be negotiable. You feel me? Because if you look at it like this, let's say Floyd Mayweather has 3 of the 4 major belts in boxing at welterweight. You think that he's going to pay 3% for each belt that he has? He's going to pay 9% of his checks to keep those belts? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think he'll do that. I think that if anything, he probably is uh, being charged 1%. You know what I'm saying? So I highly doubt he's paying 9% of his check for a world title. Fun fact, Mark, if you look at the 140 current champions, Rolly is not a WBA full status, he's the regular. Hmm. If you look at the 140-pound current champions, Rolly is not the WBA full status, he's the regular. Okay, so who's the full status then? Because when you look at the champions of the division, I don't see anybody else that holds a WBA besides Rolly. Well, that's what I meant, Texas. What I'm trying to say is I don't think that Floyd is going to give 9%. If he has 3 belts and they're 3% each, I don't think he's giving away 9%. I don't think he's taking 9% out of his purse to give it to these world titles organizations. I highly doubt that. Anonymous says probably because of that champion and recess thing. Yeah, that's probably why. You know what I mean? Because I think Ismael Barroso is a WBA interim. You know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. That's a real complicated situation, man. I don't really be knowing how that shit work. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I just know that when you talk about the 4 champions at 140, you talking about Super L, you talking about Tiafimo, you talking about Rolly, you talking about Devin Haney. That's all I know. I don't know anybody that has a WBA version of a title at 140 that's above Rolly. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the champion right there. Straight like that. Maybe he gonna have to rematch Barroso to become that full status WBA champion. Who knows? Who knows, bro? I have no clue. You know what I mean? But I'm excited to see Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. You know what I mean? It's not the fight, but it's a fight that I'll definitely tune in and support. You know what I mean? Because I think Frank Martin deserves it, and I want to see exactly where this man is at, bro. Because he's done well. You know what I mean? I think he's deserving of a world title shot. So let's see what this boy really made of. And shout out to Gervonta Davis for giving that man the opportunity. And this is like the first black fighter that Gervonta Davis has faced in a while. But that's if they get it in writing and they sign. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get my hopes up too high because there's been fights that have been agreed to in the past that actually did not come to reality. So yeah, man. Yeah. Super Six would definitely work in the 140 division. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. He says, "Who will you root for?" I'm not like really fit. Like, I think Gervonta Davis is the favorite. You know what I mean? Um, I think that Frank Martin is going to have to be extremely careful. You know what I mean with Gervonta Davis because if he gets a little reckless against Gervonta Davis and he tries to be the aggressor, it's going to leave a lot of openings for Gervonta Davis to possibly capitalize on. So, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a battle of the wits in there between Gervonta and Frank Martin. I don't think this is going to be an all-out brawl or anything like that. I think it's going to be a real calculated fight by both of these guys. You know what I mean? And I think that Gervonta Davis's experience may play a part in this fight. You know what I mean? Gervonta Davis doesn't have the best resume, but however, he's been under them bright lights several times, man. He's been the headline of multiple pay-per-views. He's faced some solid opposition, man. So he does have a better resume than Frank Martin. You know what I mean? And that's not no knock to Frank Martin. He's on the come up right now. You know what I mean? Gervonta Davis has been relevant far longer than Frank Martin has. So Gervonta Davis is supposed to have the better resume. You feel what I mean? But I think that his experience may come into play. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of things in boxing that Frank Martin hasn't necessarily experienced yet that Gervonta has in the game, and I think that it'll show in the ring. So I got Gervonta Davis being I'm not gonna say a heavy favorite, but a favorite nonetheless against Frank Martin. And I'm not really rooting for anybody in particular with this fight. I'm gonna keep it neutral. I do like both guys. I do respect both guys, but Gervonta Davis winning, I feel like will be better for boxing because then it'll continue to build up the big fights that Gervonta Davis can have with the Shakurs and the Devin Haney's and things of that nature. I think it's better for boxing if Gervonta wins. You know what I mean? Because if Frank Martin were to somehow pull out the upset against Gervonta, is there going to be a heavy demand for Frank Martin to fight Devin Haney? There might be some demand for him to see him fight Shakur Stevenson because they have their past or whatever they were supposed to fight before. But I think that the more intriguing fight, the one that got a little bit more spice on it, glitter on it, whatever the hell you want to call it, is Gervonta Davis against those two other guys that are the elite at 135 and 140. You know what I'm saying? One thing is Frank can't be predictable with his punches. Oh, we know that, Ralph. We know that. We've seen what happens when you get predictable with your combinations against Tank Davis. You feel what I mean? Like we see what happened with Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz threw like 3, 4, 5 right hands in a row, and Gervonta Davis picked up on it within the first 3 and then slipped the shot. He slipped one of those right hands and made him pay for it, and it was night after that. You feel what I mean? Ryan Garcia did the same thing, kept trying to throw the left hook, throw the left hook, throw the left hook. Gervonta Davis just stood calm and composed, you know what I mean? Measured, waited for him to come in. He rolled underneath and hit him with an overhand and got the knockdown, man. You feel what I'm saying? So the last thing you want to do is be predictable with your punches against Gervonta Davis. You know what I mean? You got to variate your shots and you got to throw them in different patterns. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you throw it the same way over and over, Gervonta is capable of adjusting. He's showing it. He's shown it. And not only is he able to make adjustments, he's able to put your lights out with one shot after making that adjustment. So that's an extremely dangerous fighter that you cannot afford to fuck up against habitually. You might be able to get away with it one time, two times, but doing that throughout the course of 12 rounds, 36 minutes, nah, man, that's not a good idea at all. So there's a lot of things Frank Martin got to really peep. You know what I mean? He got to really study Gervonta Davis in and out, bro. Study what habits he has, what he tends to do, what he likes to do. You're going to have to neutralize Gervonta Davis's best abilities, man, in order for you to really get a convincing win against Gervonta Davis. You're coming in as the B side, and you already know that the business side of boxing really would like to see Gervonta win in this situation. So you got to get these rounds as clearly as possible. Because if you can if you leave any rounds for debate, you already know what them judges are gonna do. And I'm not saying that these judges be favoring Gervonta, because the judges are rarely used in Gervonta Davis fights. A majority of his fights are knockouts. But what I'm saying is, when you're the B side and you coming into the A side's territory, you know what I'm saying? You already know that these judges are you already know how the politics run in boxing and stuff like that. You already know that a lot of these, you know, that boxing, they be having their agendas and stuff like that. And sometimes these scorecards be written out before the fight even happened. So Frank Martin has to really have that underdog mentality, man. And he's going to have to really go out there and get it, man. He's going to have to really beat the champion if he wants to beat Gervonta Davis. There's so much money on the line with Gervonta Davis that to defeat him and really fuck that money up, you got to win in extremely convincing fashion, bro. That's just what it is. Mark, do you think there's going to be any bad blood in the press conference due to the sparring in the past, or will it be respectful? Well, neither one of them dudes are really big trash talkers, man, unless they got some beef behind the scenes we don't know about. Now, Gervonta, you know, he like to run his mouth sometimes and things like that, but it's usually against guys that like to run their mouth. Like Ryan Garcia, he liked to run his mouth, so Gervonta just, you know what I mean, he started talking back to him. Rolly Romero would like to run his mouth, so Gervonta spoke back to him. But then guys that didn't really speak no English and stuff like that, like Hector Luis Garcia and Isaac Cruz, he didn't really say too much to them because, for one, they wouldn't understand them, but two, they weren't really saying anything themselves. So with that being known, it's like I think Gervonta is the type of dude that he not gonna really talk unless you say something. You know what I mean? He gonna be confident. He gonna say what he believes is gonna happen in the fight. But in terms of disrespecting them or calling them out their name or having any type of bad blood, I don't think that's what the situation is gonna be. Now there could be a situation where a reporter could really instigate it. You know what I'm saying? They could ask a question like, "Oh, yeah, man, Gervonta Davis said he's gonna knock you out in 5 rounds. What's your prediction in the fight?" Then Frank Martin could bite on it and be like, "Oh, well, I think that shit ain't gonna happen. I think I'm gonna knock him out in the 8th round." And then Gervonta be like, "Yeah, all right, nigga," and then they could just go left from there. I could see a situation happening like that. But in terms of like them just talking crazy to each other off of the rip, I don't think so, man. I don't think neither one of these guys are really good trash talkers. You know what I mean? Frank Martin like to stay to himself and just let his hands do the talking. And Gervonta, he not a good trash talker neither. You know what I mean? He don't really got a history of like initiating like arguments or being a guy that's up there being brash and disrespectful and things like that. So I don't really think it'll be too much of a bad blood type of scenario. You know what I mean? I think they will keep it respectful for the most part. But if shit do hit the fan, you know, I fuck with that. You know what I mean? I like when guys talk trash and say what they gonna do. You know what I mean? And you know, I like to see bad blood during fights. I like seeing guys that have a history. Now, what also could happen, this just came to my head just now. I already know these reporters are gonna ask these guys what happened in that spar session between them two. You know what I mean? And it could be a situation where Tank be like, "Man, I dogged him," and Frank Martin be like, "Word, like that's what you gonna say, man? Well, how about me doing this to you?" And then it could be a back and forth type thing where both of them guys believe they got over on each other, and then it could just escalate from there. I could also see that happening, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they go at it, but it's not really within neither one of their character to really talk crazy. You know what I mean? So we'll just have to wait and see. Miles Jordan said Tank boxing IQ is out of this world. He gonna catch Frank. The last fight exposed Frank could get touched, but I think Frank got to be locked in the whole fight. Well, you when you fighting somebody as big of a puncher as Gervonta Davis, you got to be locked in the whole fight. It's like when you going into a fight with Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? Like you got to be on point at all times because if you slip or you lose focus for a millisecond in that ring, it could cost you the whole fight. You know what I mean? And Tank Davis does have that type of power, especially at 135, where if you catch you with a good shot, you know what I mean? You might get woken up by the doctors, or you might be. I don't know, man. I don't know. You got to be extremely locked in and really focus the entire fight. The moment you slip is when you could lose the fight altogether. You know what I mean? But Tank does have he has some great boxing ability and he knows how to set traps real well and he can lull you to sleep and then hit you with a bomb. You know what I mean? Tank is sneaky like that as well. So and regarding that last point where you said the last fight exposed Frank could get touched, bro, this is boxing. I understand what you're saying, but this is boxing. And the reality of boxing is everybody bound to get touched eventually. You know what I mean? Pause. You feel me? So it could be a situation where Gervonta could get touched up by Frank Martin that we've never seen before. And then even if Gervonta Davis comes out victorious against Frank Martin, they'd be like, oh, well, he could get hit. So, bro, the reality is anybody could get hit. I don't care how good their defense is. Some of the greatest defensive fighters of all time had been rocked, had been dropped. Pernell Whitaker, one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time. Tito put him on his back pockets. You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather, one of the best defensive fighters ever, got rocked by Shane Mosley. I mean, they didn't count it, but he got dropped by Zab Judah. You feel what I mean? So it is what it is, bro. Everybody gets hit in boxing. Everybody. It's just how you respond to it. That's what sets you apart from everybody else. You know what I mean? But great fight, man. I want to see in the comments. We got 28 people in the building, man. Hit the like button, please, man. Let's get these out. Let's get this algorithm on the up. You feel what I mean? But I want to know what's y'all prediction for this fight. You know what I mean? I know it's a bit early. You know, it's not even agreed. It's not even signed yet. But if these guys do follow through and face each other in late spring, early summer, who do you got winning this fight, and in what fashion do you see them winning in? Me personally, I don't know, man. I can see Gervonta Davis catching. It says Tank via press conference. What the hell that mean, Notes? The fuck do they even mean? He gonna beat him at the press conference? Okay, Miles Jordan got Tank winning 9 rounds to 3. Tank via decision. Okay, so 2 decisions for Tank. Tank KOs. Shay says KO. Tank KOs in the 8th. Okay, so you got a late round knockout. Okay. 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 Tank by TKO in the 8th, 9th round. So Ralph got a similar prediction to Shay. Note says Tank in 6. Rudy says Tank in 6. Okay. So I don't see anybody picking Frank Martin as of right now. Okay. Yeah, I got Tank being the favorite, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think that I might have to really watch Frank Martin a little bit more. I know that he's an intelligent fighter, and there's a lot of things that he's done that has impressed me. But I'm gonna have to watch him a little bit more in detail now that he's facing Gervonta Davis, so I could get an idea of what Gervonta Davis is gonna be looking for in the fight. You feel what I mean? Miles said, "I see Frank getting dropped, but I don't see Frank quitting. No cap. I mean, you don't gotta quit to get stopped. But I see what you're saying though. You can see Frank touching the canvas. I can too. I can too. I ain't gonna lie to you. I can see him running into a shot. But one thing about Frank Martin though is he's got great conditioning, man. And from my experience, what I've seen with fighters, the better in shape they are, the quicker they recover from being hurt and shit like that. You know what I mean? When your conditioning is A1, you can recover from getting dazed within seconds or within just one break during a round, in between rounds. You feel what I mean? So that's something that definitely plays in Frank Martin's favor as well. Is he be in top condition, man. Them boys in Texas be training hard, so they be in phenomenal shape. So, like for example, when Jamel got dropped by Canelo, he was hurt in that moment, but once he got up and he was able to get some movement going on, he was able to recover fairly quickly. So that plays in his favor as well. But um, Gervonta Davis got that type of power where not only he could hurt you, but he could put you to sleep. Like we seen it happen. So um, Frank Martin got to be real careful, man. This got to be a real. Uh, he got to be real disciplined on the defensive aspect for sure. Tank ring rust could be a factor. When was the last time Frank Martin fought? Frank Martin hasn't fought that recently neither. Let's take a look at that. So Gervonta Davis, box rec. Let's check this out. So the last time Gervonta Davis fought was April 22nd of 2023. So that was the last time he fought. So it's going to be a little more by the time by the time that Gervonta Davis bounced back and fights, and he might be coming off of a 13-month layoff. That's what it's looking like, honestly. But let's see the last time Frank Martin fought. Frank Martin's last fight, I think it's been a while for him too. But let's check it out. The last time Frank Martin fought was July 15th of 2023. So by the time they fight, Frank Martin might be coming off of a 10-month, 11-month layoff. So it's not going to be too much of a difference. You know what I mean? Um, so we really got to, I think it's pretty even in terms of inactivity. I don't think anyone has the advantage either way. So, I mean, you can't, if this fight were to go in a way that doesn't benefit Gervonta Davis, you can't really say ring rust because Frank Martin is coming off of a long layoff himself. You feel what I mean? So it's a pretty even playing field in terms of the layoff. I mean, anonymous, I hear what you're saying, but it's not too much of a difference. You know what I mean? He fought 3 months after Tank did, and neither one of them have fought since then. Shay, what you talking about? Shay, my friend got some rounds in when we were in America. What you talking about? Tank and six. Pagai got Tank and six. Doug Right Side said, "Does Frank need a KO to win?" No, what I'm saying is he has. I don't think he necessarily needs a KO to win, but he's gonna have to win these rounds and really take. He's gonna really have to take the belt off the champion, man. He's really gonna have to take the belt off the champion. You really got to beat the champion, especially with somebody as popular and as big of a name as Gervonta Davis. You got to win these rounds convincingly, man. Because, like I said, if you leave any of these rounds up for debate, you already know them judges are going to lean it towards Gervonta Davis because it benefits boxing more when the bigger name usually wins the fight. You feel what I mean? Um, that's just what it is. They put so much money into Gervonta Davis. You think they're gonna let a debatable fight go the other way, go to the underdogs direction? I don't think so, man. We've seen this happen time and time again. We know how the boxing business work, man. If you got a popular guy against a guy who's a solid name but not as popular, and there's some debatable rounds in the air, they ease most of the time they slide it towards the popular guy. So Frank Martin has to really make it his business to win these rounds, win 7 or more rounds in the most convincing fashion possible. Now that's going to be very difficult to do against somebody like Gervonta Davis, who, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather see. Man, that comment just threw me off, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. He said, He said, "I'd rather see Southpaw 773 lacing the gloves with you." Okay, buddy. Okay. I never seen so many people. I never really seen people. I never seen people so obsessed with another man like this. Like it's crazy. Anyway, back to the topic. He says, "Do you think Tank back then was more of an aggressive, come forward fighter like a Pretty Boy Floyd, and now is a smart counterpuncher who takes his time?" Now, I think Tank coming up, he was just starching everybody. You know what I mean? He was just starching everybody because they weren't on his level. These guys wasn't really any type of names. You know what I mean? But as he's moved up in competition and really faced some elite dudes, it does seem like he's taking more time. He is like he's taking his time more now to really set things up. So I think as he's like raising up the level of competition, he's definitely in there thinking more. You know what I mean? And just using his boxing intelligence instead of just going in there and trying to get somebody up out of there ASAP. And I think that he's more cautious when he's in there with big punchers. Like when you watched him against Rolly Romero, he was real real cautious and calculated, on the back foot, you know what I mean? Just trying to get Rolly to run into something. And eventually Rolly did. You know what I'm saying? But I think that he's a smart counter puncher and takes his time, usually with guys who could punch. Ryan Garcia, you know what I mean? He took his time and played counter puncher because he understood that if he got hit with a clean left hook from Ryan Garcia, it could possibly hurt him. You know what I mean? And Gervonta Davis definitely has a tendency of being more cautious um, with big punchers, with guys who have solid power. But at the end of the day, his ring intelligence allows him to catch these big punchers with big shots and get them up out of there. Floyd Mayweather, um, when he got older, he didn't really care about getting the knockout. He just worried about winning every round in the most dominant way possible. You know what I mean? Floyd, you could tell he wasn't never really hell bent on like getting a stoppage or anything like that. I think Tank still has the same mean streak that he did when that he did at the beginning of his career. Floyd Tank still want to get you up out of there. He still want to hurt you. He still want to knock you out. That didn't change at all. But as you move up in competition, you know what I mean? You got to be more smarter with how you move. You got to be more calculated with how you move. Uh, So, yeah, I don't blame Tank for taking that approach at all. It's just, it is what it is. Yo, shout out to my moderators, man. They really got shit on lock over there, man. Shout out to the nation for sure. Bright, somebody by the name of Bright, he said, "Yo, you think it's a good fight, Tank versus Frank Martin?" Well, I'm assuming you just got in here, my brother, but I did say that it was a good fight. I'm looking forward to seeing both of them fight. It's not the fight to be made at 135. You know what I mean? There's a couple fights at 140, at 135 that are bigger in all honesty, but it's a solid name. You know what I mean? He's finally fighting a black athletic fighter. You know what I mean? Who I believe is a southpaw, just like Gervonta Davis. So this is a different mission. You're going up against a different type of fighter. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Gervonta Davis solves this. You know what I mean? How he goes about it. You know what I mean? What his game plan is going to be and how the way he rises to the occasion. Because it's a good John. It's a good John. Oh, okay, you just got in here, man. But welcome to the channel, man. I appreciate you coming over here. You know what I mean? But it's a great fight. You know what I mean? Mastermind 96 says Tank will never lose. He's been saying that for a while. You know what I mean? But um, I don't know if he'll necessarily never lose. You know what I mean? Especially if he continues to fight top level opposition. I think anybody could be beat. But I mean, he could beat just about anybody at the same time. You feel me? So it is what it is. I'm looking forward to it though, man. I want to see how I'm really intrigued with how the way Gervonta Davis is gonna go about this fight. Somebody like Frank Martin who has good timing, he got good boxing ability and great shape. You know what I mean? He got some power as well. So that's something that Gervonta Davis has to be aware of. And what y'all gotta understand is, man, I don't know, there might be some pro boxers that are in here who have or even have competed, but when you got those smaller gloves on, man, I mean, when you sparring with 16, 18-ounce gloves, you know what I mean? They have a lot of pad and protection and stuff like that. So you really you might get hit with a good shot. You might get hurt by a shot. But at the same time, it's like it's nothing in comparison to these 8-ounce gloves these guys be having on. Like as big of a puncher Gervonta Davis is to get hit with an 8-ounce glove, bro. That's a different type of feeling, man. Like that's anybody could get hurt with 8-ounce gloves. Everybody punching with 8-ounce gloves, bro. I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of these fighters, bro, they will not take punishment throughout the course of 12 rounds and still wake up feeling extremely sore because getting hit with them 8-ounce gloves, bro, it really ain't no joke, man. It's really not a joke, bro. Them punches don't feel good at all. When the adrenaline pumping and all that, you probably won't feel it. But like I said, when the adrenaline wear off, you definitely gonna have a sore shoulder, rib, jaw. You know what I mean? Your hands might be hurting, your elbows might be sore from getting hit to the elbow, your hips, bro. You feel it all over, bro. So, you know what I mean? I'm saying that to say that although Tank is the big puncher, he has to be aware of Frank Martin's punching power as well. You feel me? Both of these guys gotta be cautious. They both could crack. They both could crack, bro. So I guess we see why Frank Martin didn't fight Shakur Stevenson. I'm gonna pull up that live too, and I predicted it. I'm like, yo, the reason why he didn't take the Shakur Stevenson fight must be because they lined him with the Gervonta Davis fight. That's the only way it would really make sense because we was calling Frank Martin a duck on here, like, yo, he ducked Shakur Stevenson, blah blah blah, and essentially he did because he went back on his word, just like Ryan Garcia did with Haney. But I'm like, yo, the only logical explanation as to why he pulled out of the Shakur Stevenson fight is because they offered him a bigger fight. And this is confirmation right here. You know what I mean? I already knew it. I knew it, bro. Regardless of what they say, bro, I already know that Gervonta Davis took the Frank Martin fight for Shakur Stevenson. I know they did. I'm like extremely positive that's what happened. He accepted the Shakur Stevenson fight. Gervonta, Al, whoever the hell represents him, called Frank Martin and his team and was like, yo, we got the Gervonta Davis fight here. Do you want the Shakur Stevenson fight still? And he like, oh, well, they probably talked about numbers. He was like, oh, yeah, this fight would make way more sense. This is a way bigger opportunity than the Shakur fight. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm sure he had no problem going in that direction. And I guess that's just business at the end of the day. I mean, is it a duck? Technically, it is because he gave him his word. They agreed. Then he went back on his word. So I can't say that Frank Martin isn't a duck, but then Ryan Garcia is. They essentially did the same thing. You know what I mean? Going back on their word. That would make me a hypocrite or make me inconsistent in my point. So technically, Frank Martin did duck Shakur Stevenson, but it's not as bad because he went to take on a guy who's just as much of a threat, in my opinion, for a bigger bag, bigger opportunity overall. So, I mean, you can't really blame Frank Martin. You know what I mean? He just taking a bigger opportunity. I mean, yeah, Miles, like, I get what you're saying. Like, you saying Shakur is a high risk, low reward, but at the same time, we can't forget that Shakur Stevenson offered him a bag higher than he's ever gotten in his career. He offered him a bigger bag, and it was an opportunity for the belt. So it made sense. It just so happened that a bigger opportunity fell on his desk, and he was like, "All right, man, I know I already agreed to this, but I'm gonna chalk this one and just pursue this one instead." It made more sense. You feel what I mean? It's under the PBC banner. It's an in-house fight, bigger bag. You know what I mean? Pay-per-view, which I'm sure he might get a percentage of, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a bigger opportunity. And if he comes out victorious against Gervonta Davis, then he'll become that guy at 135. So I understand where Ryan, where Frank. Why I keep saying Ryan? Probably because Ryan Martin. I don't fucking know, but Frank Martin. You know what I mean? I get it. I get it. But I knew it. It was such a weird move for him to agree and then pull out of the Shakur fight. I was like, nah, something happened behind the scenes that they not addressing. I think he got that Shakur fight. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what I think. But I mean, I'm gonna speak on this last point right here, and then I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I definitely gotta get ready for the morning, man. I'm gonna have a long day tomorrow. So hold on. Let's say this. Man, I hate it's like I'm happy to see this happen, but at the same time, I'm kind of upset. You know what I mean? This is with the whole David Benavidez situation. Now, according to ESPN Ringside, I believe, essentially he had to choose potentially becoming a champion or a pay-per-view star. Well, if he defeats Gervonta Davis, he'll be a champion as well. So that's a great point. So that just goes to show that there was more opportunities with the Gervonta Davis fight because not only is it on pay-per-view, but it's for the WBA lightweight title. So with Shakur, he would have just gotten the world title and then got Shakur Stevenson on his resume. On the other hand, with Gervonta Davis, he'll get a bigger payday, pay-per-view. Gervonta Davis on his resume if he were to possibly win, and the WBA lightweight title. It just make more sense from the business aspect. I understand it. You feel what I mean? But it is technically a duck, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. It is technically a duck. Damn, where's the let me see if I can read this over to y'all. Oh, wait, there's a little change that just happened that I wasn't aware of. Okay. Okay, so according to Michael Benson, it says David Benavidez is set to move up to light heavyweight for his next fight and will face Alexander Vosdick in June for the WBC interim title and WBC mandatory position for the Dmitry Bivol versus Archer Better Be a winner. WBC President Mauricio Suleiman has announced. So that's a big ass opportunity right there. I see exactly why David Benavidez is set to do this, or he's down to do this because it seems like Canelo Alvarez doesn't really feel like um, taking on the challenge of David Benavidez. You feel what I'm saying? Um, because Samson Lukowicz, somebody who promotes David Benavidez, he came on and he said, "Yo, that Canelo fight isn't going to happen." And this is David Benavidez promoter saying that. So if he's not being optimistic about the opportunity, then obviously he must have heard something behind the scenes where Canelo Alvarez doesn't seem too enthused with facing him or giving him the opportunity. So with that being known, it's like, what is David Benavidez going to do? Is he going to sit here and just uh wait for Canelo Alvarez to make up his mind? Is he going to wait all the way until September, or is he not going to stall his career and continue building his career and take on a great opportunity like this? Now, David Benavidez has been draining himself, keeping himself down to the super middleweight division in order to possibly get that Canelo fight so Canelo won't catch him slipping. But at this point, it's getting ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? He don't even want to mention the dude's name. Every time they bring up his name in the media, Canelo Alvarez gets all frustrated and then tries to degrade David Benavidez. When in all honesty, not only is it the biggest fight to be made for Canelo at this point in time, but it makes more sense than any of the opposition that you have faced recently. It makes more sense than the John Ryder fight. It makes more sense than the Jermell Charlo fight. I just don't understand, bro. But at the end of the day, bro, I think it all equates to fear. And I'm sorry that there's Canelo Alvarez fans on here that don't want to admit this, but it's clear. It's clear, bro. He don't want to face David Benavidez. I think he understands that if he faces David Benavidez, it's going to be the toughest fight of his career thus far. That's what I personally think from a stylistic standpoint. It's going to be tougher than a Triple G fight because uh, David Benavidez is bigger. He's faster, higher volume, better conditioning. You know what I'm saying? He has power. You know what I'm saying? So I think he presents more obstacles than Triple G. You know what I mean? I think he's going to be harder to hit than Triple G. And I think Canelo Alvarez understands that. That's why he's not necessarily in any type of rush to face David Benavidez. I understand. So instead, David Benavidez is taking on this challenge against Alexander Volzdik. He was the WBC champion a couple years ago at light heavyweight. He had defeated Adonis Stevenson. Then he had went on to face Beterbiev in Philadelphia. You know what I mean? We actually had some of my fighters helped Alexander Volzdik get ready for the Artur Beterbiev fight because Volzdik trained in Philly for the fight. You feel what I'm saying? Um, but Artur Beterbiev had ended up stopping him, and then since then Volzdik had retired for a little bit. Then he made his return back to boxing. And he's had a couple fights since that loss to Beterbiev. So it looks like David Benavidez is going to be fighting him. That's a great fight, man. That's a great fight. And if he defeats Alexander Volzdik, he's going to be the WBC mandatory position for the winner of Bivol and Beterbiev. Bro, David Benavidez versus Bivol or Beterbiev, bro, is absolutely insane. But I'm with it 1,000%, man. I love David Benavidez's confidence, dog. He could have easily stood his ass down at 168 and waited for the Canelo Alvarez opportunity, but he's seeing something that could possibly take him to the next level in his career. He's pursuing it. And I like that he's not sitting around just kissing Canelo Alvarez's ass, just waiting for him to get a contract sent his way. You feel what I'm saying? Or just waiting for Canelo Alvarez to change his mind. He like, fuck that, man. If he don't want to fight me, bro, let him do that. You know what I mean? I'm going to continue to focus on me and what I got going on, which is a great thing to do, bro. We don't wait on you shouldn't have to wait for anybody. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to start your career for nobody. If they don't want to fight you, continue moving on. You know what I mean? And continue doing big things that help you become a legend at the end of the day. So you could be that next pay-per-view star. You feel me? So shout out to David Benavidez for doing that. David Benavidez went on to confirm this news on Instagram, saying that he'll move up the lightweight to face Volzdik in his next fight in June. You know what I mean? So a month after Canelo Alvarez, Canelo's supposed to be fighting Cinco de Mayo weekend. You know what I mean? So he should be fighting a month after. And if I'm David Benavidez, bro, just to really get on Canelo Alvarez's nerves, bro, I would really go out of my way to provoke him every opportunity I get, bro. I'll be on my Shannon the Cannon shit, like what he used to do with Vladimir Klitschko, show up at press conferences, go to his gym, knock on his door, bro. I swear I will, like what Muhammad Ali used to do to Joe Frazier, bro. He used to go over to Joe Frazier's gym and mock him from the window while he was training. That's the type of shit that I would really get into, bro. Let's bring that back and apply pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because Canelo Alvarez just continuously gets away with the craziest shit in boxing, bro. And every time there's a fight that the fans really want, we really gotta twist his arm and like really like press him to just do the most simple shit. Like, why don't you want to do that out of your own will, bro? It's like, I don't know, bro. I don't think he represents the Mexicans right, bro. Like when I think of like real Mexicans, I think of ones who really took chances, bro. Even the Mexican Americans like De La Hoya, like Fernando Vargas. These guys really was with the smoke and really faced everybody. Chavez Sr., of course, Juan Manuel Marquez, Barrera, Morales. He just don't give me the same feeling as them dudes. You feel me? So I don't know, man. Canelo Alvarez, bro, he's just a weirdo to me. That's what I personally think. Michael Besson goes on to tweet, David Benavidez is not letting his career stall for 1 second to wait for a potential Canelo Alvarez payday. Instead, he's making his own path by fighting Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andrade, and now Alexander Volzdik. Now, Michael Benson is this. Was it? I think it was Mike Coppinger. Never mind. I'll get their names mixed up. But now, 5 hours ago, Michael Benson had tweeted this, and I didn't even know this. But it says, David Benavidez promoter Samson Lukowitz has declared that Al Haymon's PBC have now offered Canelo Alvarez a guaranteed purse of $55 million to fight Benavidez next, who will be moving up the light heavyweight to fight Alexander Volzdik instead if he turns it down. So what it's looking like is they leaving they taking one more opportunity for David Benavidez to possibly get this fight against Canelo Alvarez. And if Canelo turns down $55 million, that's going to tell you everything you need to know, bro. If you turn down $55 million for one fucking fight, bro, then that's just going to let me know that you really don't want this smoke, man. That you are completely terrified. Because at this point, bro, PBC is putting their bread up like, yo, please fight this man. Please fight this man. And each time There was a couple Jones where they had offered him deals back before he signed with PBC, where it was like, "Yo, we want to give you this much money, and this is gonna include you fighting Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez." Canelo said, "No, I took the same deal with DAZN and Eddie Hearn." You feel what I'm saying? I remember this clear as day. Now it's to the point where they were talking about, "All right, we gonna give you around 35 million, but it has to be against Jaime Munguia." You know what I'm saying? It got to be against Jaime Munguia. We're not going to give you this same bag for Jamal Charlo. Now, there wasn't any information that was released on that afterwards, but it seems like they just threw another a guaranteed purse of 55 million to fight David Benavidez next. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Canelo's response is to this. Man, that's a hell of a payday, bro. That's a hell of a payday, bro. If he walks away from $55 million, bro, if he walks away from $55 million, bro, then there's literally nothing that they could do to really get Canelo on board with this Benavidez fight. This is going to let you know that it's deeper than the business of boxing. It's deeper than, well, it's deeper than money. It's deeper than the business of boxing, the politics, and all that stuff. Bro, they really going out their way to they offer him more than half of $100 million to face David Benavidez, bro. This is crazy. They're like, all right, yo, Benavidez, just hold on just a little bit, man. Let's send this offer his way. And if he turned this down, then just move up to light heavyweight. So, it seems like that's what they with at this current moment, man. I hope Canelo Alvarez takes this deal. I hope he takes this deal. Do you know how bad it's going to look? Do y'all know how bad it's going to look if Canelo Alvarez walks away from $55 million? Where else is Canelo Alvarez going to make $55 million in his division? What fight could Canelo Alvarez have right now that'll guarantee him a purse of $55 million? That's insane. Oh, man, I can't wait to make a video on that tomorrow. JB said he not taking that fight. Bro, $55 million, bro. That was more than like what Floyd was guaranteed. That was more than what Floyd was guaranteed at one point when he did that Showtime deal. Outside of pay-per-view, I think Floyd was only getting guaranteed $40 million. Ooh. Yeah, Ralph, I understand that. Only David. He not getting 55 against Jamar Munguia. Yeah, with Munguia, they was offering him around 35. They throwing on an additional 20 mil to face David Benavidez. And that lets you know that the David Benavidez fight is bigger than a Jaime Munguia fight. I had people in my comments saying, "Oh, Jaime Munguia versus Canelo is a bigger fight than Canelo and Benavidez because it's gonna really get the Mexican fans involved." I'm like, all right, well, the Benavidez and Canelo fight is gonna get the Mexican fans involved as well, along with the US fans. You feel what I'm saying? The Mexican fans gonna be on board, the hardcore boxing fans are gonna be on board, and this is gonna attract some casual boxing fans as well, because there's been a lot of hype around them two possibly facing each other. The young up and coming Mexican kid, you know what I mean, who could be the future of Mexican boxing versus, you know what I mean, the current star in Mexico boxing right now, Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? If Benavidez beats him, it's going to be looked at as the passing of the torch. And I think that's what bothers Canelo Alvarez in all honesty. I think he understands that if he loses to David Benavidez, who's an up-and-coming Mexican star, if he loses to that man, he's not going to be looked at as the man of Mexico boxing anymore. He's no longer going to be the face of Mexico boxing. You feel me? And I think that's why Canelo Alvarez has been taking this approach where it's like, oh, I don't want to fight Mexicans because I represent Mexico. No, you don't want to fight Mexicans because you don't want nobody else representing Mexico. You want to be that nigga. You want to be the only one representing Mexico boxing. You would hate to see a Mexican man dethrone you and become that new face because you still infatuated with being him. But there's another guy that's on the rise right now. He happens to be Mexican, and he wants to smoke with you, and he's in your division. And he's been a long overdue mandatory of yours for a couple years now. So what we doing? $55 million. That's insane, bro. Like, they really going, like, PBC is really shooting some crazy numbers at Canelo Alvarez. He turns down $55 million. There's no way that fight could be made. There's no way that fight could be made, bro. How do you do that? How do you walk away from $55 million for one fight? It don't get no better than that. Shit. Yo, listen, I fight them. Yo, listen. I'm gonna tell y'all niggas something. I'm about 175 right now. Yo, PVC. That bitch ass nigga Canelo don't want to fight Benavidez for 55 million. Give me 1% of that. And I'll fire David Benavidez ass up for 2 rounds, and I won't come out. I won't come out from the corner after that. But that's if I make it to 2 rounds. You feel me? Look. I'm sitting on the couch. You know what I mean? I'm eating my chocolates. You know what I mean? I'll fight his ass for 1% of that. 1% of 55 million. And I hit that. I jab the fuck out Benavidez for a round and a half. You feel what I'm saying? I light that motherfucker up. I tie him up. I body slam him. I do all that shit. Benavidez could box and all that, nigga. You ever got hit with a motherfucking a single leg takedown, nigga? You ever got ankle pick, fuck, nigga? I don't think so, nigga. That's what I'm saying. I ankle pick the fuck out Benavidez in that ring. Hit that motherfucker with a spine buster. Pause. Slime said he gonna make you shut them chocolates right up. Yeah, I'm gonna tie his big ass up. Once I get wrist control is over. Well, let me show you. Let me show you how to. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you some real street shit, nigga. Slam Benavidez right on his neck. Nah, but all jokes aside, though, I ain't fighting that big ass motherfucker. Got me fucked up. Shit. I fight anybody for that 1% of 55 million shit. Y'all do the math on that. You know what I mean? Let's do the math on that real quick. 1% of $55 million. 55 million point. I'll fight him for that much. Tripping. That's life-changing money right there for me. Swanton bombed that big ass nigga. He ain't never gonna be the same. I'm like, yo, what happened to Benavidez? He ran into that hood nigga Mark, man. He ain't been the same since then. You feel me? Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Oh yeah. I'm throwing a spinning back fist off the rip. Superman punching right in the back of his head. Kevin Coran say, hey, what's good? Who you got for this Ray Vargas versus Nick Ball fight? Bro, I never seen Nick Ball fight. I ain't never seen him fight. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna sit here and act like, yeah, well, Nick Ball, he just came off of a good victory. Ray Vargas, man, he's still, you know what I mean? I ain't about to sit here and lie to y'all, man. Clothesline DDT you gonna get disqualified. I'm still get paid though. Fuck you being. I'm knocking Benavidez out with the coldest 5-knuckle shuffle ever. Hitting with the people's elbow. Sure. So let me stop playing with y'all, but I cannot wait to make a video on that, bro. Sheesh. A nigga to turn down $55 million. That's a scared motherfucker right there. And that lets you know that it ain't about money and it got nothing to do with the business. Because there's nobody that Canelo can face right now that'll guarantee him a $55 million purse. Nothing. So let's start from what I'm seeing. It looks like this is Benavidez and his team, Samson Lukowicz and them, last attempt to make this fight happen. Because if Canelo don't pick up the phone or he act like, that ain't enough or, you know what I mean, he too big for that type of money, man, Benavidez just need to move his ass to 175 and not waste his time. You feel me? So I'm really looking forward to that, man. But that's my live for the day, man. I appreciate everybody that was tuned in and been watching the live the entire time. You know what I mean? We got 27 people in the building. If we could get the like button popping right now, it'd be very much appreciated, man. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat, chopping it up with your boy. You know what I mean? We had some good boxing talk, some funny moments as well. You know what I mean? Ralph says 55 million guaranteed, and then the money he will receive for the gate and sales. That would show he is scared. Yeah, you already know he gonna get a percentage of the commission. I mean, he gonna get a percentage of ticket sales. You know, I mean, some fighters they get a percentage of like what the vendors make at the arena and shit. That pay-per-view money, that should be a whole different bag as well, man. So, oh man, that's 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 a big ass bag, bro. So is he gonna take that 35 million to fight Jaime Munguia, or is he gonna fight David Benavidez for 55 million? This is next. This isn't September. They say it next. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, man. I'm gonna definitely keep y'all posted with that. But until then, y'all have a blessed, beautiful night. I'm gonna take my ass to bed, man. I holla at y'all, man. Y'all have a great night. You know what I mean? I hope y'all have a great start to y'all weekend as well. This is Mazuma TV. Thank you very much for watching. If y'all new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and select all so you'll know every time I'm going live or posting a video. You know what I mean? Shout out to Miles Jordan Slime. Miles Jordan Slime, Anonymous, Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? Everybody else that was in the building, man. Until then, I'll see y'all next time. I'll holler at y'all, man. Peace.